Hello, I'm Dr. Sri Banerjee, certified astrologer. And in this segment, I'll be going over sexual Vedic astrology. And so there's many types of astrological signs, especially as it pertains to the nakshatras, which indicate what type of yoni the person will have, specifically the female will have. So let's go ahead and get started here. So as a general rule of thumb, the type of yoni or the type of vagina, yoni is the Sanskrit term for this, is determined by how the moon is placed. And this is specifically true in the female's birth and the time of birth. So the placement of the moon indicates the type of yoni the female will have. So the constellation in which the moon is located at the time of birth is also considered for sexual astrology. So here's a busy slide with a lot of different compatibility points, and I'm going to be going over in detail specifically some of these pairings. But as a rule of thumb, as you can see, if the yoni type or the vaginal type is horse, then horse and horse get along and they get the maximum number of points. Similarly, the elephant type, if there's elephant male and elephant female, then this will be compatible. And similarly, other animals, so on and so forth. So there has to be compatibility between male and female in terms of the yoni type that is particular. So there's about 12 or 13 yoni types. The first one we'll start off with, and I'll give you the pattern in which I'll be presenting this. The first one I'll start off with is the elephant yoni. And this type of yoni actually is connected to Revati or Bharani. So generally considered sex as more of a moral duty for procreation. Sexual pleasure is kind of secondary, considered for this personality. And they might take longer time to prepare for sexual activity and for penetration. But when on the job, the yoni enthralls males for hours. Typically, the vaginal features are soft opening, wide passage, and deep base. And they're also known to honor authority, is powerful, and is a sensualist and enthusiast in nature. And the type of Sanskrit yoni is Gaja, which is elephant. The next type of yoni we'll be going over is the horse yoni. So the horse is characteristic of Ashwini and Satabhisha, these nakshatras. And if you're not familiar with the nakshatras, then I encourage you to subscribe to my channel and then go to the nakshatras 27 lunar mansions lecture and familiarize yourself with these. So the horse is connected with, they're not too interested in sex, but in fact has very strong urges and performance. So a lot of what is found is, so these individuals, even though initially do not seem like they're interested, once they experience an orgasm, it can be a dual orgasm, which is considered like a camel's hump, and hence the name of the yoni. So either yoni takes cosmic energy during hot environments and performs sex during cold times, or takes in cosmic energy during cold environment and performs sex during hot times. So this takes longer to satiate this yoni, and the male sexual organ must be aptly suitable. So this is why compatibility is absolutely crucial, so that you can tell if the lingam and the yoni are matched, or in this situation, a yoni for the male is matched to the yoni for the female. So the opening is soft and for the vagina, and wide passage and shallow base, and it's known in Sanskrit as Ashwa. So the next type of yoni is considered the cow yoni. And this is considered a part of the Uttara Phalguni Nakshatra, which is the Uttara Phalguni lunar mansion. And individuals with this yoni type have a strong sexual urge and performance. And they're active during spring, summer, winter. This is a dominant yoni and has, with the pliant man, making the most satisfying and rewarding sexual partners. Here the mare initiates, signals, and showers with pats and kisses so that the man is excited. Due to high libido levels, the mare will expect longer play. Some men cannot manage a mare in sex. So this is really important here. So just to go through the sexual characteristics of individuals in the cow or bull yoni, these individuals have a strong sexual urge, and they're actually pretty much ready in a lot of the different seasons. And a lot of times here the male initiates, signals, and showers with pats and kisses so that the man is excited. Due to high libido levels, the male will expect longer play, and some men cannot manage a mare in sex. So the female here initiates. There's an error here. The female initiates, signals with showers and with pats and kisses, and then high libido levels, the female will expect longer play. The vaginal type is soft opening, narrow passage, and deep base, and the Sanskrit name is Mesha. So the next one coming up is the tiger yoni. This is interesting because it's associated with Chitra and Vishakha nakshatras, and these tigresses are strong and ferocious during sex, but initially the tigress takes ages to get into high libido. Some may be by 24, others may take until 32 years of age. And their sexual urge never falters, might last for 3 to 4 decades. And on each occasion, sexual performance can actually increase for a number of days. Since it's tigress, a lot of purring, but little talking during copulation would be found. If the male is satisfying, then the tigress responds. If not, she goes in search for another satisfying partner. Typically, they have a tight opening, wide passage, and a deep vaginal base. And the Sanskrit name is Vagra. And the next yoni is the buffalo yoni. And it's associated with Hasta and Swati nakshatras. And so this represents a dutiful and loyal yoni, preferring strong males. This yoni gives in cajoling the partner and making sex very sweet for him. If the males are not strong, the buffalo does not complain. On average, sex is sparse, but when on the job, this yoni goes for long play. Prefers orthodox manner of having sex in silent nights. And of course, the type of yoni is tight opening, wide passage, and shallow base. And the Sanskrit name is Mahisha. Then the next is the dog yoni, and I didn't put up a picture of the dog because most of us know what dogs look like. These are associated with the nakshatras Mula and Ardra, and this type of individual with this yoni or vagina never lets go once the man is with her, both in sex and in life. So you are tied to her, forgetting your roots and relations. Your lingam is completely swallowed and covered by the female yoni, female dog, or the bitch yoni during sex, that you cannot easily extricate after ejaculation. So the sexual drive is high and can be unstoppable during hot summers. If the lingam matches the yoni, then sex would be good, else it is worse for the relationship. So a lot of times yoni, and when I'm saying yoni, it's more of the female sex organ, and lingam is the male, just for clarification. So the opening of the yoni is soft at the commencement of sex, but once the male organ is inside the opening, it contracts and tightens. And the type, the shape is soft and tight opening, narrow passage, and deep base yoni. It's known as the dog is Shavan yoni in Sanskrit. So here's the majestic lion. And this is the type of yoni for the lion. And so the nakshatras that are associated with this is Dhanishta and Purva Bhadrapada. And of course, the people with Simha yoni are ferocious, aggressive, angry, and similar to a lion, sometimes lazy. They like to lead and be the talk of the town. The lion yoni people like things served on their platter. They love to be treated like royalty. They give orders and never take one. The lion's gait is proud and sensual. In bed, they can be very aggressive, and they're proud, and have a high sex drive. They hunt more, down their love partners. The rest a little bit more than their tiger friends. They love long naps, though. They make highly protective parents. And Simha is the Sanskrit name for this. Then the next one is the deer yoni, and here's a nice picture of the deer. So the deer yoni is associated with Anuradha and Jeshta. And this is a fairly faithful housewife that gives pleasure to partner. So after the female deer is the most sought after yoni. She does not worry even if you go out with other yoni. Deer suppresses her sexual urge for the benefit of the family. However, she's ready at all seasons. She can have sex both in mornings and evenings, and she never fails to make the male ecstatic and happy throughout life. And typically, this yoni has a soft opening, narrow passage, and deep base. And the Sanskrit name is Mriga. Next one is the cat yoni. And the cat yoni is connected with Ashlesha and Punarvasu. And this type of yoni requires longer foreplay, but penetration is spottier. The cat would want the male organ to be withdrawn and again inserted several times during copulation. And this actually resembles nature and what happens in nature between cats. Once there's insertion multiple times, orgasm takes a long time to be reached. The cat wishes the partner to caress and hold her by the neck, similar to a cat. And then she wants the act to be soft and slow. In many cases, men cannot have the patience to go along and ejaculate faster. In that event, the cat washes her yoni with water to cool down her anger and frustration. And this is actually a soft opening, narrow passage, and shallow base yoni. And the cat is known as Marjat in Sanskrit. Here's the snake yoni. And the snake is actually characteristic of in Rohini and Mrigashira. And they're very faithful sex partner. The direct duration of sex actually can be less than an hour to 2 to 3 hours at a stretch. The snake wants more foreplay by curling, and twisting around the partner. Often snake raises the legs to allow the male organ to go inside, or prefers penetration from behind. This method makes yoni to reach orgasm easily. The snake would not allow the male organ to be withdrawn once inside. And the type of yoni is tight opening, narrow passage, and deep base. And the snake is known as sarpa in Sanskrit. Now look at these cute monkeys. This is the monkey yoni. I found this picture. So the monkey yoni is connected to Rohini and Mrigashira nakshatras. And so again, this one is also, this yoni is faithful sex partner, and kind of similar to the previous. So just going back to the monkey yoni, the monkey yoni is actually connected with Purva, Shadha, and Sravana. So I stand corrected in that. And also, this type of yoni wants to be the domestic dominant partner. Otherwise, all hell will break loose. Monkey needs a lot of pleading by the male for sex, a lot of gifts and favors, not to mention praise. Monkey needs care and caressing more than any other type of yoni. Generally, the sex act will be shorter, but much happier for both. If the male does not play by the rules, then monkey will shut out sex, giving an excuse of the care and welfare of family and children. And the type of yoni of this is tight opening, wide passage, and deep base, and vanar is the Sanskrit name. So then there's the sheep yoni. And the sheep yoni consists of nakshatras Kritika and Pushya. And this type of yoni is for all seasons and generally prefers nocturnal copulation. The hair is ready to make sex in different postures and places. Both the yoni and male must have equal aggressiveness for happy sex. If one has lower libido level, this can negatively affect satisfaction. The actual penetration and subsequent orgasm is much shorter when compared to other yonis. There's soft opening, wide passage, and shallow base. And then the Sanskrit name is chaga. And then the rat yoni. Well, the nakshatras associated with is Purva, Palguni, and Magha. And the rat type of yoni likes to have sex anytime and have great cunning in selecting places and procedures and postures. So much so that rat can have sex in the presence of children without them ever knowing that the parents are up to it. If the male is dominant over yoni, she selects the same male, otherwise opts for another. Social ethics are thrown into the wind by the rat. The yoni for the type of yoni is narrow passage, shallow base, and the Sanskrit name of rat is Mushaka. And then the mongoose yoni, and here's a cute picture of a mongoose. And this is the final yoni. So Uttarashada is mongoose, charismatic and popular, and when you do fall in love, it is a very deep thing for you and for them. And so they can mate and copulate at all times of the year. They let males do most of the work during sex, but can go to other partners if not sexually satisfied. And this is actually something I studied the characteristics of the mongoose and fused it with the understanding of intercourse and copulation. So the type of yoni is not provided, and nakula is known as the mongoose. So this actually wraps up all of the different types of yonis. And here's again going back to the compatibility. When you have horse and horse, that's the maximum. However, when you go down to horse and elephant, this goes down to 2. Snake and horse is 3, which is not bad. Going down to I believe what's the bull and the horse, the compatibility is 0. And so of course, you want to make sure that you know the types of types of animals that are connected to these signs. So I hope you've gained some insight in how to crack the code of sexual Vedic astrology. Thank you for listening.